My name is Zhang Miaomiao. I'm from China, of course, and I'm now the manager of development department of Ai Lu Education Group. And first of all, I would like to give you a brief introduction of our company because it will be related to the following speech. Ai Lu Education Group was founded in 1987. We are focusing on the preschool education 0 to 6, but mainly 3 to 6. Till now, we have altogether 43 kindergartens with more than 10,000 kids. So actually, I feel a little bit ashamed when I received this topic because what I know about the study of fairy tale was very limited. And in the past 2 months, I have read a lot of articles, and also I promote the application of fairy tales in our kindergartens. And in this process, I found that the original method of expressing fairy tale is very important, but usually be ignored. That is dictation. And last month, there's a very interesting case happened in our network platform. In our company, all of our students' parents were on that platform. And on that platform, we were usually share something like childcare knowledge and also leading education ideas to the parents, trying to inspire them. And because of this event, my colleague and I decided to share something about fairy tale. And I wrote an article and I shared the importance of fairy tale to kids. And in that article, I also wrote something about the relationship between fairy tales and kids' psychology. And you know, normally, each article on our platform, the reading quantity is about 2,000 to 4,000. But this article about fairy tale, the reading quantities reached to 12,310. Why? I think in parents' subconscious, fairy tales really have strong influence. In China, actually the child's literature and picture books sprang up 10 years ago. And the kids' parents in our kindergartens, the parents are maybe all about my age or a little bit older. When we were young, we didn't have many reading books except for textbooks. But how did we get to know those fairy tales? We read it or we heard from someone? Actually, I didn't remember. But I think that is the charm of fairy tale, untraceable but deep in mind. But although these fairy tales are in parents' subconscious, but unfortunately, there were very few parents who tell kids fairy tales by dictation nowadays. Actually, in past 10 years, not only picture book, but also video, MP3, also mobile phone app about the stories and fairy tales sprang up in the market. And in China, parents will pay more attention to the interest of reading. Sometimes they will ignore, actually, there is another very important way of receiving information, that is listening. And if we found a video version of a fairy tale, we will definitely download it. And also, parents prefer picture books to MP3 because of reading. And if we found a MP3 version of a fairy tale, maybe we won't tell our kids this fairy tale by dictation, because MP3 sounds better. And also, we are afraid of to make mistakes when we are telling the story. And in the past half year, our kindergarten started to encourage parents to tell kids stories by dictation. And at the same time, we asked the parents to record it onto the USB. And then we put the USBs on in this kind of pocket, and then we put it in the classroom. When the kids want to hear the story, they can choose the story from the story list. Yeah, this one is in Chinese. And then they can follow the guiding rule and play the USB player themselves and hear it. Although these stories are not so professional without the background music, but the kids love them really. And you can see the pictures. They're very concentrated. Okay, so all this happened make me think more about the difference between hearing stories from parents and from different media. Firstly, dictation can inspire kids' imagination. When the kids are hearing story, the imagination of characters and scenes are different. If we want the children to draw out the characters, I believe there will be a lot of creation. But if the kids just watch a video or read a picture book and then we ask them to draw out the characters, they will be almost the same. Because they don't use their imagination, they just use their memory. And secondly, dictation can promote the relationship between parents and kids. When the kids, they are hearing the story from MP3, they only use their sense of hearing. But if they hear a story from parents, they use their sense of hearing, eye contact, also question and answer. That kind of comprehensive sensory stimulation will bring up a very special emotional feeling. So for example, imagine you are sitting in a restaurant for dinner and the restaurant is playing a very elegant music. In another restaurant, there is a violinist standing at your table for live performance. And I believe the experience will be totally different because the formal one is only the so-called background music, but the latter one is the transmission of information and emotion. And what I want to say is that the value of a fairy tale is not only the story content itself, but also the relationship between parents and kids. And at last, I would like to share my own experience to you. Actually, I have mentioned I have two daughters, right? And my husband and I always travel a lot because of our job. But every day we will ensure the story time to our little daughters. And sometimes they will listen very carefully, but sometimes they will just play while listening, as all the kids are. And I was asking them, okay, are you listening? I was telling you stories. And my kids answered, yes, of course I'm listening. And you know, I'm trying to shame them like many parents will do. I asked, okay, then you tell me what the story is about. And what surprised me is that the kids' memories is super good. They can retell the story. And gradually, in the kindergarten, my kids have a routine work telling the stories to the younger kids. So my 6-year-old daughter, they are not only the receiver of the fairy tale, they are also the one who spread it. I hope that all of us can tell fairy tales by dictation, and I hope that our kids, they will tell stories in the same way someday in the future. Thank you very much.